Christmas because I am recording this on Christmas Day and a very rainy Christmas too. I've been making jokes about springtime Christmas all day. Very rainy. All that 2 to 4 feet of snow we had is all getting washed away. But let's talk about something happy when it was 2 to 4 feet of snow just lying around, and it was an awesome ski day. At least it was for me last Wednesday because I was at the opening day for Suicide Six up here in Pomfret, Vermont, like 20 minutes up the road from me, not far at all. It was a good day. We'll start with the review of the mountain. It's a good mountain. Now, the cool thing about this mountain, well, here, it's an Indy Pass mountain. It's an independent mountain. Indy Pass mountains, independent mountains, typically a little smaller, a little smaller in all ways. Less attendance, which can be an awesome thing. Less vert, less altitude. Sometimes not always. In this case, it is. Here's the fact. Here's the point. Suicide Six, I think, is a great example of how you don't need 10,000 foot vertical runs, to have a good day, to have a good time. I really enjoyed the place. It's 1,200 foot up. It's 650 foot vert. Well, here, take a look at the view when I was met that morning, because it was a beautiful day. Look at this. 1,200 feet and change, and look at the view. The view is awesome. Just over little Pomfret town there, their downtownish area, and, looking out and over, from north to south off towards a Scutney. You could see a Scutney in there. Or could you see a Scutney in there? I don't know. And it was a gorgeous day. And it was so awesome. Like, you get on the chair, and the chair is it's an attached quad, and that's it. There's a couple other lifts. There's a J bar. I think there's a double. I don't know. I didn't go over that side of the hill, honestly. But I spent my time on the main mountain, and man, that's all it needs is that quad chair, man, and that was awesome. That was awesome. And it starts right there. Like, well, first let's talk about, in COVID-19, we talk about ticket lines and things like this. And, the Suicide Six has buy in advance. I mean, they were selling tickets the window too, I think. I don't know because I didn't have to. I kind of did, but I just walked up with my Indy Pass, say, can I get an Indy Pass day? And they said, sure. And they, hand wrote the ticket, grabbed a wicket, folded it over, attached it to my pants. Off I went. Over to the lift. Lifties, very nice. Know their job, grabbed the chair, held it for you as it come and scoops you up, sends you on your way. Make sure you got your bar down, all this, and you ride up and you get that cool view. Now, here's the thing. This mountain, even though it's small, is super popular. How do I know? Take a look at this. Now, as you can see, it's all cut up. It's all ripped up like people have been skiing it. Now, this was opening day, mind you. It was opening day, but look at how cut up it is, or was, on the day I went there. That was the morning. That was at opening. That was opening on opening day. Official opening day. But do not forget that we had 2 to 4 feet of snow from the southern part of the state, about halfway up to here, maybe a little north of here. So it's about halfway north, you know what I'm saying? And Suicide Six is dead west from here. Now, all of that came from the uphills. I would assume there could have been a soft opening that no one knew about, but I also know from social media, people, the second that big old snowstorm hit, they were out there. And they were tearing it up, uphill, #uphill. And they embraced the uphill. I saw so many uphillers that day. Like, it's not just allowed. They embrace it. It's like so many people. Like, I was doing 2 runs for every foot ascent. For every uphill, I did about 2 runs. So if I saw someone starting as I was getting on the lift, I'd go down, wave to them on the way by, and then they'd be at the top by the time I got back up to the top. And I was taking it slow, so you never know. You might be able to get 3 or 4 runs in per set if you just go down and up and down and up and down and up. But they ripped that place up, but there was still groomed stuff. So that's where I started, and I found what I think might be my favorite trail on the mountain already. Not that I got to do them all. Not a lot more was open than one would think. Like all that stuff that was ripped up on the front of the mountain, that was all open. There were people skiing that all day, up and down that. Plus a groomed run off the front, the face as they call it. That's their diamond run. That's practically a racetrack, man. And I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna lie. I chickened out. I didn't do it. I'm not ready for that yet. But I stayed in the easier stuff. What is it called? Easy Mile, I think. Comes down green trail. Almost every mountain has a green trail to get down. And I started there. Needed the warm up. Why not? Always warm up on the green trail. That's tradition. That's what I do. Followed this trail, man. It kind of meanders its way down. Now I hiked up it in the summer, and it has crisscrossing mountain bike trails and all this and that. And it all looks different in the winter anyway with snow on it and everything. And it was just a really cool trail. And that's actually the side of the mountain I stayed on. Like the blue stuff that's over there, I tried that. It was thin cover, which they had marked out. Their ski patrol was on point. Throughout the day, you saw them changing signs, roping stuff off, opening. I didn't see them opening anything because they opened it all for the morning. And then you know how the day goes. It goes on. And if it's not groomed up or whatever needs to be done, it gets roped off. And they were roping stuff and moving signs around and taking care of business. Very good, very on point, very efficient. But that's where I kind of stayed, which was kind of awesome in a way because the sun for the morning was hitting the mountain so hard. Like I started in full jacket with a second jacket under that with a thermal, and I ended up in a very thin high-vis jogger's vest and a thermal. Like I had to drop layers. Like the backpack wasn't cutting it for drop layers. I had to go back to the car, which isn't a big deal because it's not a big place. Parking lot's not big. I got a pretty decent parking spot. I was there right after the place opened, and I had to ditch layers. So going over to that other side of that mountain, which was kind of more northwestish, the sun, it was shaded, so it was nice and cool over there because I wasn't ready for a warm ski day. I was ready for a cold ski day, and it didn't work out that way. But it was nice trails to hang out on. But like I said, they had more. Like those runs you saw cut up, that was some challenging stuff. That's all diamond stuff. Steeps, you saw people riding it like they were riding big mountain backcountry, like using the same techniques to get down through all that ripped up snow. Definitely challenging, but people were loving it, and I was loving where I was staying. Remember, I'm still getting back on my feet and on my skis, so I'm still taking it kind of slow, but I pushed it a little more this time, and where it said thin cover, be careful, I'm like, all right, I'll go try that. Or when the amount of people picked up, because it didn't get busy by any means. It felt it kind of because the line in the area where the main quad lived, there's not a lot of room there, so people were, you could see them all when they all got to the lift at the same time, but there weren't that many people. But COVID-19 and a small mountain, definitely awesome. Didn't go in the lodge though. I can't really tell you what I think of the lodge because I didn't go in it, which is preferred this year, obviously. And you can only go in really for a couple minutes and they want you out everywhere, which is fine. But it looks brand new. But they did open up this whole like new deck area with all kinds of outdoor seating, so they got you covered. Parking lot's decent, so that's good. It can hold it can hold who's there, so that's good. Although I imagine that this place sometimes has people just begging for people to leave early so they can get parking spots, because the parking lot isn't that big. But if anybody knows about this place, I mean, and I'm not saying like it's some kind of hidden gem. Like don't think I'm trying to sound like some Vermont tryhard. Like I know where the hidden gems are. I'm not. It's a cool place. It's a small place in a small town, which is north of a small town, which is surrounded by small towns actually. So you might not realize it's there. Plus it's independent, so you might not realize it's there, but it's awesome, and I really liked it. Like I said, I liked the little easy trail that just kind of meandered through the trees. It's wide, but then you could jump off onto a little harder stuff or tree runs, if you want to do, get in on the trees, man. There were people doing that in what was left, of the powder. Again, like I said, there have been people there all week. Like that may have been opening day on the 23rd, but the the big snowstorm came the week before, and people were getting it. They were there. They were getting it all over. In fact, there were people getting in people's farms. Like I saw just driving in, I saw these open hills with just, tracks everywhere, including the old Mount Tom, which used to be connected with the Suicide Six. But it's private property now, but they were using it, so good for them. And but Suicide Six definitely awesome, great runs, challenging stuff. Like honest, again, they don't have 100 trails, but what they do have is balance. They got some stuff for the beginners. They got some stuff for the intermediates. They got some stuff for the experts. And that's what you need. Even if you have 3 trails, balance it. Make one easy, one middle, one hard. This has a good balance. And it's grouped. Like the whole main part, the middle section of the front face of the mountain, the north face of the mountain, is all kind of the challenging stuff, and then the intermediate stuff goes around it, and then the terrain part comes. You got to go down off the top and go around to get to the terrain park. So it's very well balanced. It's very well set up. I'm actually looking forward to hitting it for my second Indy Pass day. Indy Pass, 2 days at each participating mountain. And that's the only one I've used so far. So that was great. The employees were friendly. I was getting a kick out of this one lifty who was directing traffic down in the lift line and kept referring to me as high vis because I was wearing a bright green vest. It is a high vis running vest, so you don't get hit by a car, but it works just as well on the hill. Awesome. Employees were friendly, knowledgeable. The mountain was great. It is small, like I said, so I don't have a lot to say about it yet because I couldn't hit everything, but everything I hit was awesome. The stuff that was groomed up nice. First thing in the morning, like I said, the stuff that couldn't be open, their patrol was right on it and took care of it. It was like locked down, and if it wasn't locked down completely, there were plenty of warnings. Thin cover, use caution, experts only, what have you, taken care of. And people seem to be loving it. Like that main black trail, the face, man, it looked like a racetrack and people were using it like a racetrack. And they do have racers there. I think they have a racing team, as a matter of fact. And people were using it and they were just coming blasting down this thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm not ready for that. Not yet. Later in the season, I'll be ready for that again. But it's a great hill. It's a really great hill. I feel like this review isn't doing it enough justice. That's how cool it was. If you dig on the small hill vibes, man, and it really lived up to it. It just felt like if the whole thing was 100% open and you can ski that, to that level, you could do the whole thing twice in a day. And that's kind of awesome. And it's in a great location. It's not... Some people would say, how is that a great location since it's kind of off, and in the smaller towns and off the main roads. I mean, it is on a main highway, but if I'm not mistaken, that main highway eventually turns into a dirt road and then picks up again a town or two up. The pavement stops, but it's great because it's not getting hammered with people. Like even, I bet you, they probably fill up when it's fully open and when there is no COVID-19 restrictions. But a full up day there is different than a full up day in one of the bigger places. Mount Snow, Stratton, Killington, Okemo, these places. A full up day, there's still room to move, and one quad chair, an attached quad chair, no less, can more than handle it because it's not a long ride. You don't need a high speed lift to get up this hill quick. It's very fast. It was very awesome, great view from the top on a sunny day, and even when the sun went in, it was still really nice. Like I said, I'd like to speak more on their amenities. Their bathrooms were clean. That's the only other thing I really checked out in the lodge because they don't want you in the lodges. I ate my lunch in the car and used my car as a lodge as well, as we all do. It was awesome. I can't recommend the place highly enough, I don't think. It was awesome. I was really impressed. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to go back and be able to further review it on the rest of the terrain when I'm ready for it and when they are ready for it. Unfortunately, as I said, this is Christmas Day, and they had to announce that because of the rain that's been falling, they are on pause for the season, for whatever time they need to get the snow back up. Whether they have to wait for a storm, I don't know. Whether they can blow snow and keep going. They do have snowmaking. They had very sophisticated snowmaking from the looks of it. It wasn't running while I was there, but the guns were everywhere. It's not like you couldn't see them. So they're shut down for a little while, but they'll come back, as long as the winter comes back around in this springtime, from this springtime Christmas, such as it is. But once they're ready to rock again, it's worth it. Check it out. If you got the Indy Pass, great. If you are in Vermont, check it out, great. If you're not in Vermont, I'd say check it out, but remember to follow the travel restrictions. Plus, Suicide 6 has a form that you have to fill out online 24 hours before you go. So check that out. Otherwise, you should be good to go. And buy in advance, too. Always buy in advance. Remember, ski tickets now are kind of like airline tickets. If you buy in advance, you could probably get a better deal. So go ahead, check that place out when you can, if you can. I loved it. And like I said, later in the season, once I'm ready, I will check out more. And they're ready now. Check out more terrain. As for me, the recap, like I said, I stayed on the blues, stayed on the greens, felt better on my feet, even leaned in to get some of that carve action going. Very little though, very little bit, but I felt good and I got a ton of runs and I was whooped, man. I put that mountain to the best test that I could put it to, and it put me to a bigger test, and I was wiped. And it was great, and they have everything you need as well. Ski school and patrol and everything you'd find at a bigger mountain. Their ski school was running lessons all over the place, the uphillers were doing the uphill thing, and that's something I'd want to try, and I want to try, and I would try it there because they seem to embrace it, not just allow it, but embrace it. So that's really cool. Like I said, I'm ready to go, and I was doing well, and I really enjoyed it. Check that place out if you can. Like I'm thinking about just all the last 15 minutes of talking about the place. And I don't know if I did it enough justice. Like, I really don't, because it was that awesome. The snow was good, but it's the same snow we get in Vermont. It was a week post powder, but there was still a little bit kicking around. People were tearing it up wherever they could. It was groomed up nice. The trails were nice. The employees were great. Nice people. Knew their shtick, knew their business, and know their trade. It was awesome. I say check it out there in Pomfret, Suicide 6. Check it out. I'm ready to go back. I'm ready. Sometime after the new year, I'll get my second Indy Pass day there, at least a second one, and maybe you can go back for a third one. But there's a lot of places I want to check out. So check that place out. Please follow them on their social media. They are awesome. If you, like I said, if you do come up from out of state, follow those travel restrictions and then enjoy it. I did. I'm ready to go back. I loved it. The place is great. 5 stars. Absolutely. What do you say? Tim from Ski Rex Media, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you a little, not insight into the hill, but know that there's someone out there who really, really liked it. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the rest of your season. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas, even though then this gets posted will be 2 days post Christmas. But whatever, we'll see you for New Year's, and then we'll see what mountains come up in the new year, right? Right. Suicide 6, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your mountain. I can't wait to come back. Oh, they also, when I got back, see, for me, I use Verizon. There's a dead zone out there, but that's common in Vermont. You find places your cell phone doesn't work, and I didn't even think to check for Wi-Fi because I didn't go in the lodge. So I didn't put up anything on social media. I did it when I got home, and I added to the Instagram story, and they shared my story on their story, some of it. So awesome. Thank you to them. Check that out and enjoy that place if you have the opportunity. If you are in Center Vermont, thank you to them, and follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Ski Rex Media as well. Thank you, and I will thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next review and recap later.